Yeah, but 2 miles down the road, you was yelling at a granny who's literally just trying to get home. You was yelling at granny because she wasn't driving fast enough. I mean, we're not as good of people as we think we are. But there's a God who loves us in spite of that. And I told him, I was like, I hope that I'm wrong, because if not, you're in trouble. And I'm like, all I can do is pray for you. I pray to my God for you that he will show you the truth of who he is, so that when we die, if I'm right, you don't burn for it. And like that's where our friendship started. And like he's told me since then, he's like, I thought you were the craziest person ever. And I'm like, you probably still think I'm crazy. I don't know why you're friends with me, but we just have this mutual respect for him. And he also knows not to send me anything vulgar, like anything that's got he sent me a picture one time. It was supposed to be a funny picture, but it had GD on it, and I was like, that's not funny. And so he learned real quick. Profanity not accepted. Next. I mean, but we talk about Marvel and we talk about Harry Potter and stuff like that. We talk about movies and stuff that we both like that. And I slipped in where I am because that's just who I am. But it's just it's just like with these zodiac signs though. Like you can take away these zodiac signs and everything with it, and it will have no effect on my life whatsoever, because they literally mean nothing in the grand scheme of things. At the end of month, they mean nothing, and they've had no earthly impact or eternal impact on me, because they don't define who I am. And I'm not about to put my hope and trust in anything man-made, because people suck.
Hmm. And it's like, do people not realize by now that like we can't do this? We can't like survive without God. Like we've done so many like crazy things. We've come so far away from God and don't even realize it. Like I know you were mentioning about casting crowns, and I thought about that song that's on the Life Song CD. It's like while you were sleeping, I was just thinking about like, yeah, I was just thinking about like America, like what did you miss while you were sleeping? And like spiritually, we are asleep and we need to be awakened again because we're focusing on things like the zodiac signs and like we're focusing on things that are man-made and it's just it's crazy to think and so I was just thinking that you mentioned about how your friend thought that you were like one of the craziest, people like ever. And I was just thinking how like it seemed like history, like as long as history is going on, like it seemed like the Christian person always is looked at as the crazy person. Like, we know of course of Noah, like they thought, oh, this guy's crazy. Why is he building an ark? And they thought about even Jesus, like who is this person, thinking that he's the son of God, like him, and then and probably even Moses, people are probably thinking, why does he keep going up there? And after he just told them no, like he's gone up there so many times, and he there he goes again. He's going in there. So it's like, and then even in this case, like we may be talking against something that people are so for, like so many people support something like zodiac signs, and I definitely look at it more in a negative light just because when it takes God out of the picture and we're focusing more of looking at the stars to gain some kind of knowledge about, oh, these planets align, so this is why I'm here. And I don't know, like it makes it seem like the world revolves around you and it doesn't revolve around Jesus being at the center of it all. And
Yeah.
yeah, that's just to where I see these zodiac signs can definitely be a bad thing. Like, so if you're looking at these horoscope things for fun and thinking, oh, like, yeah, they got me accurate today, but they didn't get me accurate yesterday. Like, so I guess that's when it's all in good fun. It's definitely not bad. But when people fully invest into these things and their life decisions are based off these zodiac signs, like who are they going to marry, like you're waiting on somebody that's not like you. You're looking at somebody that's got a compatible zodiac sign. Like this is why you have no spouse or no friends, because you're looking for like a specific something just based off a zodiac sign, or you're going to like I don't know, just I said even like we mentioned like the tarot cards, like you're relying on unreliable sources, and it could definitely be like
Yes.
to where like false teaching could come into that. And we've heard in the Bible about like false teaching where it's definitely leads people away from God. And listen, these people are like, oh, I have all the answers, and a lot of ears that are listening to these things, especially with social media nowadays. Like I said, with TikTok, as I mentioned earlier, that's been such a huge app that people have been involved in of all ages and stages. Like I've seen like my nephews on there, my nieces, and then I've even seen older people on there too. And just seeing how people use that, social media, not just TikTok, but other account apps and accounts and things like that. They're using that to give you a reading or something like that. So it's a crazy world out there, and that's where we need to discern what is right and what is wrong. And that's kind of why I wanted to leave zodiac sign as like the last thing to talk about, because it is, I feel like Halloween, I said, it's definitely something, so if you feel convicted that like it's a bad holiday, if it's the devil's birthday or whatever you want to call it, like it's so that's definitely up to you. If you're looking at it as a fun little costume kind of thing where you go get some candy and you just spend time with the family, so then that's good as well. And as far as tattoos, we talked about if your tattoos like are giving glory to God, or if you feel so if you don't feel like you're convicted, like if it doesn't feel like it's going against God, so there's so there's all that, like where your heart lays with those kind of topics. But with zodiac signs, I say it can be, those horoscopes can be looked at as a little fun thing you may just look at for a minute and then go about your day. But when it becomes a huge part of who you are and the life decisions that you're going to make, it's definitely not good in that case, because I'm not trying to look for people that are compatible with my zodiac sign, and that's not why I'm still single. Like I'm just waiting for the right person. And like I said, just that's just what it is. Unless I'm just not going to let these zodiac signs be identify who I am. I'm going to identify myself as a Christ follower, and that's where it needs to be with this whole world, which is why we're all so far away from the Lord as a whole, and in general, just because of we look to these kind of things. And like I said, even with yoga, like I said, just looking at it as how can I better myself, instead of not spiritually towards God, but like how can I get more in tune with the world. And like I said, that's where these worldly things can be dangerous, for
Mm.
our spiritual walk with the Lord.
Oh yeah, I agree completely. 100%.
So yeah, so that's about all that I have as far as these two topics. These were definitely two big ones that I wanted to talk about, and I'm sure that there are many more topics out there that I could easily think of, but these were like the four big ones that I wanted to talk about, because I've heard so much talk about all four of them. Like I know with zodiac signs, I've just seen it all over. With yoga, like I know people that do yoga. Like I have family that some of them do some yoga, and I know their reasonings for it. Like so it's not like bad intent, with their yoga. And even with tattoos, I know plenty of people that have tattoos. I've even admitted myself that like I would love to have a tattoo at some point. And then also with Halloween, I definitely go out on Halloween night, and I love wearing a costume and being a kid at heart and just getting to trick or treat with my family and all that. So I said that's always good. So it's just I said these things can be bad if you make it an idol in your life. So as long as you don't make it something to where it's more important from than God. Interruption, everybody. We had a few little technical difficulties going on. So as I was saying, just kind of as a final thought, I was just thinking about how like Jesus talks about in the last days about how like what's right is wrong and what's wrong is right. And like I said, it does make it to where we're labeled as the wrong, we're in the wrong. The things that we're saying against these things like zodiac signs can make us look like we're crazy, that we're not being open minded and all of that. And if you're looking at, like I already mentioned, or like we mentioned, if you're looking at horoscopes, that's just a fun little thing. You're just saying, oh yeah, that was me today. Then that's okay. But like if you're really looking at these things as like this is what I'm fully relying on, like this is how my day is going to be determined based off what this horoscope says, and less of those things can be bad. And less than as far as all of this, it just blows my mind and it doesn't make sense. So make it make sense, people. Like I definitely don't understand these zodiac sign craziness going on. So before we end this episode, do you have any final thoughts regarding any of the things that we kind of talked about?
I think my biggest thing is just trust Jesus, people. Jesus will never, ever, 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 ever steer you wrong. And just like man made things will steer you wrong, there's no doubt Jesus will never. So trust Jesus, not zodiac signs or yoga. but
Yeah.
but for real, trust Jesus, trust that God's going to speak to your heart about each and everything. And if God convicts you that you don't need to be doing something, whether it's these four things or something else, um, don't do them. Maybe trust Jesus a little bit to know that He knows what He's talking about, and He knows the thing that you want to do this, it might keep you from harder things down the road, things that really hurt you. It always seems so insignificant at first, but in the end, it can turn out to be a pretty big deal. And 9 times out of 10, it's definitely not on the good end of things.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a really good way to end with this. Just knowing that don't trust in these man-made things because they're so temporary. It's not going to come into the next part of eternal life. Like so, we're focusing on Jesus, who is eternal. That's what we need to be focusing on instead of these worldly things that can you can have a little bit of fun with while you're here on Earth, but when that's who you are, when you're all about, yoga and zodiac signs, and if you are someone that worships Halloween, realize that if you're putting that, intentional, if you get a thrill off of being fearful, and like I said, if you get tattoo that's definitely against God, like the mark of the beast numbers, like there's definitely a lot of bad things that can come out of that. So just definitely, you know, ask God, pray to God for discernment and if there is conviction in any of those areas, and that's where it just needs to be. Let's just definitely rely on God, pray to God, and just give Him the glory through anything that you do. So anyways, that is going to be the end of this topic. I want to thank Caitlin again for being here, and I know she is going to be on some future podcast episodes, and definitely look forward to having her back. So, like I said, anyways, everybody, if you enjoyed this episode, be sure to like this on my Facebook, my YouTube channel, at Not Your Average Joel. You can give me a like from there. So, or if you are watching this from my Instagram page as well, Not Your Average Joel podcast. You're probably just seeing a reel on there. You're probably not seeing this actual video. But my link is, and my YouTube link is on my Instagram page as well. So, anyways, everybody, I hope that you have a good rest of your night, and I will talk to y'all later. Bye.